Everyone, PC here, and welcome to our final week of Intro to Marketing. This week we're going to be wrapping everything up, and I'm sure you're excited to get everything done. So let's get right into it and start taking a look at market research. Before we do that, though, I would like to take just a moment to recap everything we have covered in the past 7 weeks. We started out week 1. You were introduced to the marketing concept as a whole. Remember, it is a lot more than just advertising. It involves the entire marketing mix, which is, what are the 4 P's? Right, product, price, place, and promotion. Good job. In week 2, we took a look at segmentation, targeting, positioning, and you performed a SWOT analysis for your new company or your new brand. The 3rd week, we jumped a little bit into consumer behavior, what motivates people to make purchases and things like that. And we continued on a little bit more in depth with segmentation, and you actually practice target marketing. In week 4, we looked at the in-store promotions used for a purchase that you had made, and we identified the different marketing channels through which a company actually gets that product into the customer's hands. Some of you had a little challenge on that, but hey, you did finally overcome it. And I think everybody understands that concept now. So great job. Week 5, we went into advertising and public relations. Week 6, we did a little bit on social media and online marketing and looked at how particular brand uses social media as an advertising tool. And finally, this past week, we looked at social responsibility and branding. And as I mentioned, we're going to wrap everything up with market research. So what is market research? First of all, market research is extremely important for a brand to be successful. A lot of companies don't use this, and they could do a lot better if they would and just take the time and effort to do market research. And what it is a systematic design, collection, analysis, and reporting of data. You're looking at what the market is doing. And remember, market are the people out there who might be interested in making your purchase. And it'll tell you a lot of what potential customers are doing or what current customers are wanting, things like that. The thing with marketing research, though, is it is relevant to the specific marketing situation that an organization is facing. And that situation is not always a problem. It can sometimes be an opportunity. Through market research, we might find that customers are wanting something that we're not providing that we are able to provide. So through a market research project, we could identify an opportunity to increase sales and revenue, money, right? So, all right, so the steps of marketing research involve the following. First of all, you do define that problem, or it could be, as I mentioned, an opportunity that's out there, and you define your research objectives. There are 3 types of objectives that you would consider. You're going to either do exploratory, descriptive, or causal. Exploratory is used to just gather preliminary information and helps you define a problem or an opportunity and suggest a hypothesis or a theory. You really don't get detailed answers. And we also call this qualitative. Descriptive, though, on the other hand, is what we call quantitative. And this is going to give you more measurable results. And it's used to better describe the market potential for a product or the demographics and attitudes of consumers. And finally, causal, that is a cause and effect relationship type of test or an experiment. It could be a field trial where a new product is introduced out in one particular store to see how successful it might be. And so those are the different options that you have available to you. All right, so once you've figured out your problem opportunity and your research objectives, then you want to develop a research plan for actually collecting the data. There's two types of research that you look at. You either consider primary or secondary research. Now, interestingly enough, you actually want to do the secondary research first. And what secondary research is that is research that has been conducted for some other purpose. It could be a project you had done at another time. It could be an external source, such as the U.S. Census Bureau. You know, if you're needing to find demographics in a particular area, they've conducted that research for something else, but it would help you understand what the ages and incomes of a particular area might be. Primary research, on the other hand, is research that you actually conduct for this particular problem or opportunity. And you do the actual research. But like I said, typically, a lot of times you use that secondary research. Sometimes it's free, like the U.S. Census Bureau. Sometimes you might buy it, things like that. But sometimes you can find your answers through it. And because primary research can be quite expensive and it can be fairly time consuming. So if you can get your answers through the secondary research, awesome. If you need more data and information to resolve that problem or identify that opportunity, then you can do the primary research. The next thing you do is, of course, is you implement the research plan. And in implementing that research plan, you're actually conducting the type of method you've selected, whether you want to do a survey or a focus group or whatever. You have figured out the sample size that you're going to use, and what a sample size is exactly what that word is. It's a sample. You can't measure and survey every single customer you might have. You know, look at Facebook. It's got millions of users. And so they can't conduct a survey with every single user. So they choose a sample that is representative of the overall population. And that helps guide you also in the implementing. You collect and analyze the data, and the things that are of primary concern where you collect and analyze data is that it's unbiased, that it's of high quality, that it is representative of the entire population, and that it is accurate. And finally, after you get all this data collected, then comes really the challenging part, interpreting it. And that takes some time. It takes some calculations, and it takes a little creativity. A lot of times you will find out things that you really don't want to know or didn't know. So you have to remain very open-minded during this process so that you don't try to find things that really aren't there. And then, of course, you report your findings. You use those findings to justify and support and inform your marketing strategies. And that's why this is so important. All right, so some of the methods that you might use, jumping back to the secondary and primary research, and you may have heard of some of these things. These are some examples. You know, I gave you one in regards to secondary research as the U.S. Census Bureau. But you can also use a company's internal database. A lot of times they'll have what we call a CRM, Customer Relationship Management System. And it will keep a lot of data on your current customers. You can purchase research from outside suppliers. That can be extremely expensive, but it can be well worth it in the long run. You can use commercial online databases and internet search engines a lot of time. You just want to make sure that it's reliable and credible sources. You don't just Google and find just some random numbers out there. So, And in primary research, some of these are maybe familiar to you, and some of you, or if not all of you, have participated in at least one of these. Surveys, for example, back to the U.S. Census Bureau, they go back and do a census every 10 years. If you've participated in that the U.S. Census Bureau survey, you have been part of a survey. Focus groups, interviews, observations. You might just stand in your store and watch people and see what they look at, how they're trying the product. If you go to the vegetable aisle, are they smelling the tomatoes or do they squeeze them or whatever? Um, and so observations can be very valuable as well. And finally, experiments and field trials. As I mentioned, you might release a new product just in one small area just to see if it's going to be successful. And here's some pictures of what different types of research methods are commonly used out in the business world. A lot of times we'll see focus groups, and that's what this first picture is. A lot of times that is done behind a two-way mirror so that people can actually watch people's uh, facial expressions and their body movements and things like that, because you're not just gathering data from what they say, but it's how they say it a lot of times. It's usually videotaped and or recorded, and but these are smaller. You don't really get to talk to many people in regards to this, and this is a type of exploratory example. Then we have the common survey. That's a descriptive because you're getting things in a quantitative state. You know, you're getting rankings and ratings and ordinal values, just a yes or no, and or in lists and categorical values if they're male or female, and you put all this information together, and it helps you identify a lot of information that you're looking for. And finally, another very common one is a mall intercept. This is a type of interview where the interviewer may have a certain criteria that they need to follow. For this one, for example, he may need to he may be searching for just young females, all right, and that may be the criteria for his sample. And so, he would have questions, and it's just a one-on-one interview. And this can be a mixture really between, it's primarily exploratory, but it can also be, you can get some descriptive data as well. Also, I'm going to be sharing a video on a very popular pizza company it's Domino's Pizza, that used market research to improve their product. And they actually created an entire advertising campaign around listening to their customer. And I'm sure you'll probably remember it when you watch it. But there's one or two documentaries that I'll be sharing in the announcement board so you can see just how effective market research really is in a real life example. All right. So finally, let's wrap up what you need to do this week. It's not a hard week. You've done all the hard work. This is an opportunity, though, for you that if you have not done any of the My Marketing Labs, or you would like to get a better score, please, by all means, go back and do those over, or do them the first time if you need to. Remember, as you can do the My Marketing Lab exercises as many times as you want, with the highest score being saved as your grade. So to finish out this week, please do read Chapter 4 of the textbook. It's on market research, and you can understand the concepts I've briefly described here even better. Review the glossary so that you're familiar with these terms. Watch the video on marketing research. It is a cool video, so be sure you watch it do the My Marketing Lab exercise on marketing research. And finally, to wrap everything up, is your last discussion post to tell us what you've learned in this course. Is marketing more than just advertising to you now? Is it a little deeper than what you thought at the beginning? Um, I'd love to hear your input on what you have learned. And also, this will be your last chance. You can show off your newfound knowledge by discussing a product that needs some marketing help. And, you know, look at the different types of market research that we've discussed here, and it's mentioned in Chapter 4, and recommend a market research strategy that they could use and improve their marketing overall. All right. All right. It has been an awesome, awesome time with you. Everyone has done great. And I look forward to wrapping all this up. And I know you are too. And you can move on to your next course. So I want to wish everyone good luck and thank you for being such awesome students. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a buzz. Shoot me an email or in the forum, whatever. Just let me know and I will help you out to finish out the week. All right? Thanks and have a great week. Bye.